Good morning, everybody. Andy here at MN Motors and Sports. It is October 19th, Saturday morning. It's beautiful weather outside. It's fall time. We got farmers in the field. We got hunters bow hunting in their deer stands and duck hunters out in the blinds. And we got people shopping for vehicles. We got winters coming right around the corner. If you have a vehicle that maybe needs some work or some tires, or you got a front wheel or rear wheel drive vehicle and you're looking to get into an all wheel drive vehicle, now's the time to start shopping and get a deal on your next vehicle. So today I want to talk a little bit about pricing. We all see prices on vehicles. A lot of times we think, oh my gosh, how are these vehicles so expensive? And I get it. I completely understand, and there really is a rhyme or reason to it. And I can't speak for all dealers, of course, but for myself and many included, I'm going to kind of give you guys a little bit of an inside look at to how vehicle pricing works and where we come up with these numbers. Unfortunately, we don't just have a dartboard on the wall that we throw a dart at and say, yep, that's the price. No, we do some research and find out what the vehicle's worth. The first thing that I want to talk about prices is we don't decide what the price of a vehicle is, okay? We as dealers don't decide. You as consumers don't decide. Your grandma and grandpa, they don't get to decide. No single person decides what a vehicle is actually worth. Even KBB and NADA don't. The market decides what a vehicle is worth. What are other ones out there selling for that are similar? Because if you can go down the road and you can get a better deal on the same vehicle, then why would you pay more somewhere else? So being a price leader, I do a lot of research on price. I do the research before I buy a vehicle, and I do the research again after I buy that vehicle once it's fully reconditioned and ready for the lot. So I'm going to kind of go through. This is something that I do all day, every day. If you have any questions, feel free to comment in as I'm going through here. If you're watching the video afterwards, not live, please feel free to message me. You can call me. You can shoot me an email, whatever you'd like. If you've got any questions as to how this works or need me to slow down, just stop me and let me know. So I'm going to flip the camera and we're gonna go through a little example here. All right, so the vehicle that we're going to do today, this is a vehicle that's on my lot. It's a 2017 Ford F-150. It's a crew cab XLT. It's not the most basic package, but it also isn't loaded up. You know, it has cloth interior, it's got a power driver's seat and your power options, but it doesn't have, you know, your remote start, the big touch screen, things like that. It doesn't have everything, but it's got everything that someone's going to need, okay? It is a crew cab, so you're going to fit a family well. 5.5 foot box, which is pretty much the standard. It has a spray-in bed liner. The tires are like new on it. But overall, it's got a couple little dents and dings. It's got some paint chips. It's not a perfect truck by any means, but it has 136,000 miles. So to be expected with the mileage, this vehicle is not going to be brand new or perfect, nor is any used vehicle. So, four-wheel drive FX4 package, I have it listed for $19,999, and I'm going to show you where that number came from and why $19,999. So, first thing that we're going to do is we want to look up the history of this vehicle. That's probably one of the most important things. Now, a lot of dealers may not use Carfax, they may use AutoCheck, some may not use anything. It's kind of crazy that they wouldn't, because you should want to know the history of every vehicle to not only protect the dealer, but your customers as well. So having either a Carfax or an AutoCheck is really important. Myself, I prefer Carfax. It's a little more detailed. It gives me a little more information than AutoCheck, and I think it's just easier to use. So this is the Carfax report for that 2017 Ford F-150. We can see all the information drives over here. It's never been an accident, no damage reported. And you can kind of scroll down and see where it's from. So this spent its life in Canada and was just imported in about May of 2019. So now that I know the history is good, right? Some things that we're going to look here that are going to affect price, you know, small accidents and little damages may not affect what the vehicle's worth necessarily if those small things have been fixed. But if it's something like a severe damage, or what we're really looking for is salvage title, structural damage, flood, hail, that kind of stuff, those are the things that are really going to affect a vehicle's value that we're going to watch for. So this vehicle checks out good. So we're going to move on from that. So the next place that I want to look, and a lot of you consumers look here also, this is Kelley Blue Book. Now, there's gonna be some things that I'm gonna show you, and some things we use, some we don't, but overall, we're just kind of gonna get as much information as we can. We're gonna put everything all together to come up with our end result. So I put in the Kelley Blue Book for this. I selected the specific options that this vehicle has, nothing extra. And you can kind of go through and you can see. So a fair market range with these miles and options is from 17 to 23.5. A fair purchase price is 20,000, and a typical listing price is 21. That's a lot of numbers. I mean, look at the difference in 17.1 to 23.5. I mean, that's a huge difference. That's a much larger range than what type of profit margins we work off of. And when you're out buying these vehicles, you don't just get, well, I'll let you buy this truck for some number between 17,000 and 23.5. No, there's a specific number that seller wants for that vehicle too, because that's what it's worth on wholesale. So, this is something to look at. Like I said, keep it in mind, but it also does not decide on its own what the price of this vehicle is going to be worth. So the next thing that I want to take a look at is the NADA. I like to look at NADA mostly because I offer financing. So majority of lenders go off of NADA, clean trade, or retail value, depending upon your customer's credit score and their credit type. So going into NADA, I'm not going to use this number to price my vehicle necessarily, but I'm going to use this number to know that if someone came to my lot and wanted to finance this vehicle, how much money can they finance? If they're not putting any money down and say they have a couple $1,000s in negative equity, is this a vehicle they'll be able to buy? So scrolling down, you can see with these options and mileage, the clean retail is $27,125. Boy, wouldn't it be nice to sell it for that? The clean trade-in is $23,100, average trade $21,650, and rough trade-in is $19,900. Okay, like I said, these numbers don't mean a whole lot about what we're going to price that vehicle for, but I know if I have someone with good credit that comes in here and wants to buy that vehicle and not put any money down, I'm not going to have an issue. Tax title license on that vehicle is probably about $2,500, $2,600, somewhere in there, maybe even closer to $3,000. So they'd be asking for, just say, $23,500 total on the loan. The thing books out for $27,125, even $23,100 on clean trade-in. So even with tough credit, this is a great vehicle for someone to be able to get financing for. So moving on to the next step. The next is we're going to look at the actual market, okay? We know what NADA is and we know what KBB is. We know what the history is. Now let's see what other similars are selling for. This is where things get a little bit more complicated, but this is where you really start to get your numbers. Okay, I'm starting in Facebook Marketplace. Now, if you're using this information to sell your own vehicle or vehicles on your own, my number one suggestion is choose your market, okay? Where are you going to list this vehicle? Are you going to list it on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace? Are you going to spend some money and put the listing on Cars.com and AutoTrader and Car Gurus? Pick your market and shop that market and know that market, okay? I use Facebook Marketplace because it's free. It's free and there's a lot of shoppers on it. The tough thing about Facebook Marketplace is it's difficult for consumers. The majority of consumers are on it and use it. However, I mean, look at this. There's no way, you can't really sort these out. We got trucks anywhere from $31,998 to all of a sudden $25,000. I mean, I can see that it's a 2017 F-150 XLT crew cab, but what about the other options? There's so many different things, in different ways an XLT can be built and build up. I don't know, look, it doesn't even show the miles right on the screen here. I mean, you could scroll through F-150s for days, absolutely days, and you don't necessarily know what you're looking at till you click on each individual one and really do your research on them. So it's a good thing to look at if you're going to be marketing on Facebook Marketplace, but I'm going to warn you, it is tricky and it's time consuming. One thing with Facebook Marketplace is, though, too, there's other vehicles that aren't quite as common. Obviously, there's a lot of F-150s out there, okay? In fact, if I would have opened up this spread from 2015, which is when this body style started, up to, like, say, 2018, so I only get used ones instead of new, oh my God, we'd have so many pickup trucks, we wouldn't know what to do with. I mean, it would be insane. So I just did a little bit of a spread on 17 F-150s. I'm going to look through here and just kind of get an idea. My main thing when I'm doing this is I'm looking at these numbers here, okay? I'm going to look here. So this is the first thing that people see when they're scrolling through. So I'm seeing a lot of, high 20s, low 30s, lower 20s. I'm not seeing anything down under $20,000, okay? Now, one thing that I'm gonna kind of focus on here is when you have so many vehicles, especially on a place like Facebook Marketplace, you have to stand out. If your vehicle doesn't stand out, your price has to stand out. Something has to draw attention to that vehicle, okay? So, there's some on here that obviously, well, that's a pretty nice looking truck. It's got a set of wheels and tires already. Those types of vehicles draw attention to themselves already, regardless of price. In my case, as you can see, Grandpa F-150, I need to really stand out. So before I buy this vehicle, I'm going to take a look at this. I'm going to say, okay, something about this truck needs to stand out. It's going to end up being the price. What do I think is right? Okay. Now looking through, you can see, look, this is a regular cab for $21,000. There's nothing under $20,000. So that might be a hot button for someone. Someone might say, honey, I want to go shop for a pickup truck. And she say, honey, that's okay. You can buy a new truck, but I don't want you to spend anything more than $20,000. Okay. Well, now he's going to be limited as to what he can buy. And if he wants a newer body style or a 17, my truck is the one he's going to be shopping for because it's priced at $19,999. Okay? So, again, I took this into consideration before I bought the truck. Again, once it got done in reconditioning, I look into it again. Now, there's one last thing that I want to show you guys that's also going to help decide price. As a dealer, I use Cars.com. I love Cars.com. It's very easy to navigate. It's very easy to find vehicles and compare